This is the Haste Club. My name is Liam from the Hustle Brothers. We've got our new co-host, Dylan, who has just been promoted in the Hustle Brothers. And then we've got the leader of the Haste Club. We have Christopher Bell himself. And guys, I want to start off by saying Christopher has some really amazing news that has happened today. So, Christopher, you can do the honors and you can tell the guys.
What's funny is that I thought we were live for like the last 45 minutes. We've been talking for a while.
I genuinely, I knew you thought you were live as well.
Yeah.
But no, thank you. Yeah, no. Today I celebrated my daughter graduating with honors, full ride scholarship to VCU. I can't be more proud of my kids. They're way better than me. And yeah, it was great. I gifted her 100 shares of Rocket Lab with a few extra bonuses. And you got to teach them kids well, man. Teach them while they're young.
Honestly, I congratulate you on that. I don't have kids myself. Hopefully one day. I know Dylan's quite proud of his kid at the moment, but I can't imagine how you feel. Congratulations to her. And guys, please jump into the comments and congratulate a proud dad in Christopher himself. But anyway, we're here to
Congratulations,
Rocket
Chris.
Lab. Guys, honestly, we said we'll go live every day. I'll be dead honest with you. Reason I'm late today, I was flat out at work. I didn't realize how big of a commitment it is, but you know what? we're gonna roll with it. We're already firing in on the comments there.
Bro, I've been drinking since about like 11 or 12 this afternoon. I've been drinking and partying, and we've been celebrating my daughter's graduation since like noon. So yeah, catch up. I'm gonna do my best to stay quiet here for most of this chat, but thanks for everybody tuning in. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Chat. Christopher's quite drunk at the moment, so if you have any difficult questions for him, make sure you say, Christopher, what do you think?
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I'm going to jump in here. We have Brightstone. Got to ask, as I'm brand new to following you guys and newish to invest in, what's Haste Club? Now, I don't think it'd be right, without me jumping back to the drunk man himself, to explain what Haste Club is, because it is Christopher's project. We are running it side by side with Christopher, but it is Christopher's project. So, Christopher, do you want to explain what Haste Club is?
All right, so you guys remember the movie Fight Club, right? The movie Fight Club, Brad Pitt. What's the first rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. So about a year or two ago, started doing a lot of research with my good buddy Francisco Ramirez and Johnny Mack, and we saw a lot more than most realized when it came to the Haste program. And we could not get anybody on YouTube, anybody on X even talk about it, so it became a joke. On top of that, it's usually a classified mission, so you can't really technically talk about it. So it just kind of fit in when it came to Haste Club or Fight Club. And what we came to realize was Haste is actually a very large part of the future of Rocket Lab. They're big in defense. They have the fastest, most sophisticated hypersonic vehicle in the world. Maybe China's a little bit ahead of us. You can't really argue that. But as far as what the U.S. has, they're ahead of SpaceX on that. And that says a lot, considering you're going up against Elon Musk and all of his money and everything. But yeah, so it was kind of a pun. It was just kind of a joke, and I originally just went on live because I thought maybe it'd be easier than messaging back and forth with Francisco and Johnny, 4 or 5 times a day. I didn't expect anybody to kind of tune in, but it's kind of grown into this. And yeah, so we're building now what we call a Haste Club. It's an open forum. It's a big community where we want everyone to be involved. It's not about me. It's not about Liam. It's not about Dylan. It's about all of us that invest. It doesn't matter if you invest in Rocket Lab. You can invest in whatever, but it's more of a laid back approach. We're not here to talk about the numbers and bore you with all the kind of stuff you can find on X or YouTube. It's just to have fun and talk about your favorite stock. It's that simple.
No, thank you so much. I don't think you could have given a better description of that. Now, because you're new to investing, I want to explain to you. So, Rocket Lab's small launch vehicle is called Electron, and it lifts about 300 kilos to low Earth orbit. Now, what HASTE stands for is Hypersonic Accelerator Suborbital Test Electron. So it's basically a sounding rocket. It's a hypersonic, not a missile, but it carries a payload. It can go between Mach 22 to Mach 25, depending on how big your payload is. So that is 25 times the speed of sound. HASTE is really important for the US government just because, look, the actual HASTE rocket is the most advanced hypersonic rocket there is on the planet. Some people are going to disagree with me there, but look, I think Christopher will back me up. HASTE, we had someone say yesterday that the Chinese have something similar. Do you agree with that?
I do. Actually, I really do. China is kind of piggybacking. I mean, look what they're doing. SpaceX, they design, build something, launch it up, and then 2 weeks later, China is doing something very similar.
Yeah,
it's smart. It's not stupid for them not to do that. And yeah, I do believe that right now, as far as hypersonics, China is leading everyone. But as far as a U.S. space-based company, the only one that's doing it is Rocket Lab, and they're doing it at a pace and a consistency that's almost up to what China's doing.
Did you actually see that China this week managed to land a booster? I seen it going across X, or it was like
yeah.
So they're not even that far behind the likes of SpaceX when it comes to the landing of the booster. Jumping back to HASTE, so Christopher from Day Dot has had a passion about the defensive side of Rocket Lab, and as he said, we don't talk about Haste Club, or we don't talk about HASTE. And I think the reason we don't talk about HASTE is because there's not that much public information about it, even though we're starting to get little snippets starting to come out. Just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean we can't model it into our investing plan, and then doesn't mean we can't think outside the box. Look, I'm all about the commercial side of Rocket Lab, and we will talk about the commercial side of Rocket Lab throughout all our live streams. But we really do see an opportunity in the defensive side, and we've said that since we started the Haste Club. It's not since this GEOST acquisition. It's not since my Narek. We've been saying it from day dot. Chris, I think we both need to say we can't believe Francisco Ramirez is back. Francisco is a key part of our channel. He likes to stay a little bit behind the scenes. He doesn't really like to come on camera, but he is a massive part to this team. I think he got hacked or something on X. He seemed to go offline for a while, but we're glad to see him back. He reached out to us on YouTube, and he is trying to get his account back on X. So anyone that is worried about Francisco, I know Chris was very worried about Francisco. We know he's safe, and we know he's well. Now, I want to jump on and say, for any of you guys that don't know Dylan has been with the Hustle Brothers since the very start. Our channel is only 1 year old. It was actually 1 year old 2 days ago. Dylan has been with us since the start. It genuinely is since the start. You're one of our first subscribers. Dylan's been reaching out to me on a day-to-day, and we've built a really strong friendship. We speak every day, really. Look, I was on holiday last week and Dylan was still firing me news across. So we thought, you know what? There's no better time than to promote them, add them to the Hossa Brothers. We've done a video with them before, and then we jumped on a live stream last night for any of you guys that missed it. So that was Dylan's first live stream. If you haven't seen Dylan before, please jump into the comments and welcome them on board. I want to say as well that Dylan is very new to Rocket Lab, so please be nice to him. But I thought it was very
Bust his balls. Bust Dylan's balls. Give him hell, guys. Give him hell. Look. The thing about Dylan, I've been talking with Dylan most of the day, and he's quick and he's smart. So, yeah, he might be a little bit new to the Rocket Lab community, but he is not new to investing. He is not new to research. The guy knows what he's doing. Props to him for sure. So, yeah, he's a little bit new, but yeah, throw him the questions, and you're gonna probably like the response. The guy's great at what he does.
Also, what I want to say, guys, is anyone on X at the moment, if you want a comment to us, you have to jump across to the YouTube to comment. You can open them on 2 tabs. But what I want to say today is because it's Chris's daughter's graduation day, it's a happy day, I'm going to do a giveaway in YouTube chat. So all you have to do is make sure you like the stream, bang the subscribe, and then make sure you've followed Christopher Bell on X and you followed Dylan. Is Dylan on X? But Dylan, I'm going to fire it across to you. You're new to Rocket Lab. What got you into Rocket Lab? What got you interested about it? I know we sort of spoke about it last night, but there seems to be a few new people here. So I want to sort of jump back and sort of focus on the beginner investors. We're only new in this stream at the moment. So I want to focus on the beginner investors, get them up to scratch, and then we can start throwing in a bit of pixie dust and we'll dive in a little bit more. So Dylan, why have you started getting interested in Rocket Lab?
So, I was actually, thank you, Liam, and thank you, Chris, obviously, for having me on. It's been a pleasure to talk with you both through the DMs and to be on with you guys last night live. And to the question, I was actually thinking, so I had actually re-entered the position in Rocket Lab on Friday. But I actually was thinking back, it was not the first time I had held a position in Rocket Lab. Really quickly, I think prior was kind of seeing a general run-up. I didn't know as much about the company, kind of bought in for some shares. And then the next part of, I would say, my investment style would be to do as much due diligence with inside of that company that I'm able to do. So with Rocket Lab and the decision to re-enter, just as a quick side note, I would say more of one of the stocks that I'm married to would be Archer Aviation. But more the point is of what drove me towards Archer was a CEO, a founder and a CEO that I believed in, a design that I believed that could make it to market, as well as defense, as well as commercial opportunities and applications to the business. So when I started looking into Rocket Lab more deeper, and as I plan to get further and further into my DD with inside Rocket Lab, to me, it was showing me a product, just being honest, that was very visually appealing to my eye. So one, that was just a gold star for me, being interested in the company, listening to the interviews from Peter Beck and just his passion, honestly, behind the company. I saw a video today of him, and I'm sure you guys have seen it before, but it was just a quick clip I saw of him blending up a hat and eating it. And, I'm sure I need more context on that, but you could just tell that he was so about his company and truly engaged into the success and the momentum. And another thing that separates them from other investments I have is they have a product that is delivering. They are actually having they have a production line that is actually having launches, both prior launches as well as upcoming scheduled launches, as well as the advancement into, bear with me, the Neutron launch that will be coming up. So just kind of a brief snippet of that. We're kind of dip to toe in, dip to toe out, but there's been a few things, both CEO design of the spacecraft and the future opportunities of Neutron, as well as some others I'm sure we'll discuss later, has got me very interested in Rocket Lab.
Thank you so much for that. I really think what Peter does, some of the guys here would know us from eVTOL Weekly, but why we're so obsessed with Rocket Lab, what really got me interested in Rocket Lab was Peter Beck himself. He sold it to us. Peter does what he says he's going to do. He's doesn't hold back. He tells you how it is, basically. I feel like other CEOs can more or less fluff it. They can more or less sell you a dream. And it's one thing that Peter Beck lays out his plan, tells you what's happened after it's happened. And I think what we've got so used to in the sort of realm of the likes of Elon Musk and the likes of FSD being constantly talked about, you feel like some companies are constantly trying to sell themselves, where I feel like Rocket Lab doesn't have to sell itself. I put up a post yesterday about what they have already achieved prior to this week. So I really think that you have to sometimes look at the past of the company before you look at where you can see the stock price going. Chris, what got you initially invested in Rocket Lab?
Well, I'm a space geek, man. It's that simple. I've said this before on other live streams. I learned the hard way. I didn't know how to invest, and if you're going to be willing to take your money and put it into a stock, it better be something that you're willing to do your own due diligence and do your research in because you have an interest in it. I've said before, I love chocolate. I do. I'm a chocolate freak. But Hershey's as a company is boring as hell. Now, can Hershey's make me money? Possibly, but it's boring to me. So I'm not going to listen to the earnings calls. I'm not going to keep up and follow with what they're doing on day to day. Now, I'm a big big space geek. So I'm going to keep up with Rocket Lab. I'm going to keep up with Redwire, ASTS. I'm gonna follow what's going on with the space world because that's what's interesting to me. The fact that I can actually invest in that is a gift. That's a gift because I'm actually able to invest in something that I am willing and more than willing to put my time and effort and energy into and follow along. And so far, it's been up and down, but we're looking at a 5 to 10 year timeline here with a company like this. And what you were saying earlier, Dylan, now if you subtract Neutron from what Rocket Lab is currently doing, Rocket Lab would actually be cash flow positive. They'd be making, they'd be in a plus. A lot of their money, well, most of their money is going into Neutron. You wait until late 2026, 2027, it's going to be a whole new world. It's going to be a whole new world. And they're going to be able to compete with the likes of SpaceX for 10 to 15 years plus.
And like you're saying, Chris, that's a lot of the R&D money that's going in right now that will then come off the books.
100%.
Yeah. There was they've only done one like Investors Day. They went live on YouTube and invited a bunch of people out there. I think it was in 2022. But if you go back and you look on YouTube and you watch that, you actually watch that Investors Day and what they were talking about, not just Peter Beck, but Adam Spice and a few of the other people. And now compare it to where they are today. They talked about acquisitions and how they wanted to grow their company to be a fully end-to-end space company. You take raw material in one door, and out the other door you get complete satellites, you get launch, you get the maintenance, you get the whole 9 yards. They talked about that in 2022. Now they did jump ahead a little bit as far as what their original 5 year to 10 year timeline was as far as acquisitions, and they are spending a bit more money, but they're getting it for less. Look at the Maryland complex that they got from Lockheed. They're leasing that for pennies on the dollar. Pennies. These companies like Mineric that are in current financial issues, yes, Rocket Lab does want to use them, and they do buy from them, but they can do it way more efficient, and they can fix those financial issues. So it only makes sense that we acquire them. It's going to cost some money. Will there be some share dilution? Probably so. Probably so. But if you've been in Rocket Lab for a long time, like I have, you're expecting these things to happen. You're not looking at, next week, I want to make a bunch of money. You're looking at 5, 10 years from now.
And Chris, I think that's a great point as you make for the long-term investor, and like you say, having that proper due diligence, listening to those earning calls, seeing the founders, the CEOs stick to those guidance, stick to the promise, maybe even over deliver. To me, that's where the dilution doesn't become as scary. You see it as an opportunity for that company to bring in any cash that is going to be accelerating that company's growth. It's not something to just maintain the doors open on the company. So I think it's a great point,
Right.
to not, especially if you've been the long term, or even for me being a new term, I'm sorry, being a newer investor into Rocket Lab. Not that I want to see a dip down for any current shareholders, but for me, again, that's where I'd be looking to, no financial advice to others, but for me, that's where I'd be looking to buy the dip and just increase my position in Rocket Lab, again, based on the DD I've done and the belief that I have in this company, and that, like you said, Chris, that 1, 5, and 10 year outlook on success. So yeah, I agree with you very much on that. And I don't know, Liam, if you have any thoughts as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is a respectful thought by you. Not financial advice at all. But look, when you're talking about the likes of yourself jumping into Rocket Lab now, some people will consider it expensive. Other people will consider it fair value. Others will consider it cheap. If we look in the next 5 to 10 years, chat, jump in and tell me, do you see it going to $100, $200? What do we see it going to? I honestly just feel like, genuinely, don't jump into a stock unless you've done your own due diligence on it. Don't be following anyone on YouTube. Don't be following us. Don't be following absolutely anyone on YouTube. Don't be following them on X either. You jump across to X now, you'll get everyone telling you, look, Rocket Lab's so cheap at the moment. It's only the start. We've been seeing this coming a long time. I think myself and Chris have constantly said we don't particularly focus on charts. We can do videos on charts, but in the short term, I never ever focus on charts. Look, some people are really successful by it. I honestly, at the moment, I'm just adding a couple of shares here and there, constantly building up my position. Yes, my average is slowly rising, but we've been in it down. We were speaking about it yesterday. Down the low days, 1st of August last year, 298. We've been in it for the high days. What, all-time high of around $32. But again, DCA, it'll all work out in the end. But what I really want to do, I want to jump across into the comments right now, just because they're really starting to ramp up. So we have Matt Money, when Lambo. Matt, when you coming on? I've messaged you. Fair play, congrats to his daughter from Brightstone. June,
Hey,
welcome back. Hello.
June. Thank you, June. That's awesome. We love you. Hey, Matt, I don't need a Lambo. I got a river, bro. I got a river. I'm about to go kayaking, so screw the Lambo. But thanks, June. Curtis is in here. That's awesome.
Curtis, my man, has no kids and his time has passed. All seed is probably sour. You're never too old, mate. You're never too old. Hope Chris doesn't do a live beer run. That seems to be the going thing at the moment. Chris does jump off and like to get in his car, but we love him for it. Christopher, what's 4 plus 2?
Curtis, 6. It's 6. And Curtis, I went on my live beer run earlier, and I'm sorry, but I am celebrating my daughter's graduation today. So, actually, I'm not sorry. Yeah, I'm celebrating. So, if that's offensive to anybody, I'm not going to apologize. She graduated with honors, full ride to VCU. Very happy for her. Thanks for everyone turning in. And oh yeah, by the way, Francisco, I know you're not on X, but 757-746-6393, bro, message me. All right, we gotta talk because I got some stuff to tell you. I got some stuff to share with you. Can't share it here. We'll share it tomorrow maybe, but gotta talk to you first.
So we've Colin Curtis says Matt Money, when's the moon? We have Julie. Julie, welcome back. When Mars? Is this just a when club now? Okay, and on to Rocket Lab. When Jupiter. So Matt saying Curtis has he has an e-commerce question. Can he DM quick? When June on channel, call in. Yeah, June, honestly, call in. Can't wait to start getting some of the guys in here. Okay, thanks. I'm not on YouTube personally. I leave that to the pros like Matt. Honestly, Matt is a pro and we look up to him. Match. Welcome, Dylan. Archer Club. Dylan,
Thanks,
we
Matt.
have an Archer Club, don't we?
Don't get me started, Maddie. Don't get me started. I'll show my my Archer love, but even with my Archer love, though, I do look at it from the clearest perspective that I can. I do try to look at all the facts. I look at the SEC filings, 10, AKs, 10Qs. Really try to stay ahead of the game on Archer. And that's just personally the way that I've approached investing into Archer. And for me, that's exactly the way I intend to that's the exact way I'm sorry, that's the exact way I intend my approach into Rocket Lab investments as well to be with heavy DD, grabbing as much knowledge I can. And actually on top of that and sharing it with the community because for me it's more fun when I have a group of people to talk to this information about because at the end of the day it's me taking notes, writing Excel or making Excel spreadsheets about these companies, writing up Word docs, sending them over to Liam and hoping he'll read through my 12 to 14 pages of an earnings call notes. So yeah, it's a pleasure really to have the community to talk to about this.
Bro, if you ever send me 12 pages to read, we're gonna fight.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just joshing with you, man. But love it.
No. Trust me. No. I totally understand. And for me, something on that, Chris, too. And maybe this could be for any earnings call. I actually ended up. I won't name the website. I believe it's a pretty reputable website, but they had a earning call write up on one of the companies I follow, and basically it was line for line of what I had typed out. But to me, the difference in actually going and listening to that earnings call was that was me with my own ears, and I'm not saying I'm a superstar investor or just I'm a very regular guy, and so. But my point is that gives me an opportunity to really hear the voice and tone of the speaker, be it the CEO, CFO, and really when it comes down to the Q&A part from the analysts, and really when you're with that company listening to consecutive earnings calls, you can really kind of start to peg in on certain analysts that have a beat on the company that you're invested into, and really then can also tune into the answers that your CEO, founder, and or CEO is giving to those questions, and really have a comparative perspective, which can go back to the previous quarter or even the previous 1, 2, or 3 quarters back, and see if that lines up with the same guidance that that company has been given. And again, for me, that's just to try to do my best to protect my investment. But then on the other flip side, if I have that opportunity to listen to that call, that's for me, because I enjoy it, to share that to my friends, to Liam, to Chris, and to anybody in the community that's just open to have those talks about it. And one of those people who, if I'm a bull on a company, I love hearing the bear thoughts and the bear discussions, because those help keep me grounded. Those have me take a different lens when I'm taking a look into that second, third, or fourth time I'm listening to an earnings call, rereading any notes I've gone over. So it's very helpful having the community together to have both the positive and negative perspective thoughts, or just bull and bear thesis on certain companies.
Yeah, honestly, and you touched on it there about how important the community is. Guys, if you want to call in today, honestly, I will eventually get there. The goal of this is to get as many people that are passionate about Rocket Lab in here. We want anyone, whether you've one share, whether you've no shares or you've 100,000 shares, if you're passionate about the company, whether you only jumped in last week, like Dylan on Friday, or you've been in it since day that, we want to hear your thoughts. Jump on. We're not going to bite, including you, Matt. Jump on, please. But honestly, yeah, we want to hear your thoughts. We need to talk beyond feelings and more financials. CEOs are salespeople. That concerns me. Are we speaking about Peter Beck? I don't think Peter Beck is that much for a salesman, to be fair. If anything, he could ramp up sales if he really wanted to. I don't think he needs to, but I wouldn't say that Peter ever puts out information that is not correct about Rocket Lab. You had that short report try and tear them down a little bit, saying that they didn't have water, but do you know what? That was soon dismissed. New Blade, hi everyone, and he's happy to see Dylan now.
Nice. Hey, Noob.
They do interviews all the time. Bryson Beck, many recently with retail. And that's the thing. Guys, jump across and look at Matt's interview with the 3 other Rocket Lab creators. Peter and Adam are open and honest. You've a nice few nuggets in there. I think that was the interview they talked about the Golden Dome. And Peter more or less came out and said they'll be doing their utmost to try and get in on some of them contracts.
The questions or the questions that came from Scott O, as far as when it came to Haste, those are brilliant.
Yes.
And I honestly think it kind of Beck kind of like sat back a little bit, and I think he was taken aback. And I think he was a little bit impressed on the fact that the retail community is that in tune on what's going on, on the inner sanctions of Rocket Lab.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. New Blade, don't forget to like and subscribe. For more, you can also join the community on Discord or the XEVTOL channel. Who have we got coming in here? We have Dylan. So we then have Drano84. Yay, congrats. I think all these guys are talking about your daughter. Graduation. What's my response to the Archer short seller report? So in my last eVTOL Weekly, we done a detailed breakdown of the Archer short report. What I'll do, I'll quickly run through it here, but we've guys here for Rocket Lab, so I won't take up much time. I went through absolutely every point in the Archer short report. I think about 3 of them I agreed with. The other, I don't know how many there was, but I put up a defense on Archer's behalf for each of them. And I think it was pretty valid. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, again, not that it's going to say it all, but one thing I looked at was Culper and some of the other short reports that they had put out. And I'd be happy to grab the information. I am streaming from my phone, so I'd have to grab it from the computer. But prior to Archer's short report that they did, there was 4 companies. One was AppLovin, Gorilla. I'm not going to name it if I'm not going to name it correctly, because I'd rather just get that right for you guys. But only 1 out of the 4 companies since that short report was released by Culper were actually in the red, and I think it was in the red by about 7%, so it wasn't like a drastic hit upon that stock. All the others were green. So I'm not saying to take an inverse Culper report trade. I'm not going to give that financial advice, but I guess just really quick, and we can obviously go into the other on the eVTOLs, but I just figured I'd take a quick lens and just see how accurate they have been on their past shortings. And just get a gauge on that, because again, it does, we're mentioning their name a lot more than we ever did before. So it does bring a eye on marketing upon them as well. So different views and opinions, both good, bad, and indifferent. But yeah, on the eVTOL Live, Liam, happy to talk more about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We will jump into that. Dylan, if you're free tomorrow, we actually can do an eVTOL stream. But I'm just going to finish off with that by saying, it's just convenient that that short report came out, and it was very similar to Rocket Lab. After any good news and a big drastic run up, we get these short reports coming out just to pull the market back down. And again, as you said, there's a lot of press on them. You've a lot of retail jumping in on emotion, on the high. And then, look, they get scared off. If you're a long-term investor in the likes of Archer, or you were in Rocket Lab when they said they had no water for a Neutron launch, look, if you're a long-term investor, you'll see right through it. And look, if you want a proper response to the Archer short report, jump back to it was the last eVTOL Weekly. And I've done a detailed breakdown of every single point. Drano, bankruptcy incoming. A CETL 6-minute flight is Archer's response. I don't really agree with that, New Blade, but look, it is a list. Midwest Cannabis, your friends.
Midwest.
Thanks for the heads up.
Midwest.
Bless you,
That's
brother.
awesome.
We love to see you here, brother.
Great to see you.
Do you know what? Before we actually get too far into this, yeah, guys, Stock Trek goes back. Do you know what? I love her content. Guys, there's 21 of you here, yeah? If you're not subscribed to Stock Trek Go, you shouldn't be subscribed to us. I'm putting Stock Trek Go's channel into the chat there. Make sure to jump in and check out her Rocket Lab content. She was actually a big investor in Joby too. I haven't actually spoke to her about Joby recently, so I'd love to get her thoughts on that. But we are trying our utmost to get Stock Trek Go on to the Haste Club. But no, well done for coming back. It's not an easy thing, this content creation. And my utmost respect for coming back, and just keep cracking the whip, keep going forward. As well, Stock Trek Go, if you're listening to us here, you inspired us to create our channel, genuinely. I've said it openly. The 4 main Rocket Lab creators, you all know who they are. We have Dave, Vince, Matt, and Scott. They inspired us from the start. said it since day dot. You can jump back on my videos from a year ago. We done another one about 3 months ago where we shouted the guys out, and Stock Trek Go, we shouted her out too. We've said they always have an open invite onto any Hustle Brother or Haste Club stream, because look, you have to commend the people that have done it before you, and we look up to them guys. They've had nothing but respect for us. I can jump back to when we first started and we had 2 or 3 subscribers. Them guys always shouted us out, and they've always been respectful to us. So honestly, Star Trek Go, if you're listening, if we can do absolutely anything to help you along your journey, just we're a DM away, honestly. New Blade, Seattle. I'm not gonna explain what you're saying there. Woohoo, your son has shares. Conventional takeoff and landing like a plane. I'll try Julie. He likes to spend all his cash on steak. I think I'm gone too far here, aren't I? June is here, of course. I represent my son's 87 shares. Chris, I think you said it earlier on, but in case any of the guys weren't here, what did you give your daughter for her graduation present?
100 shares of Rocket Lab plus a few extras, but yeah, that was her graduation gift.
Honestly, loving. I think all the guys here will respect that so
it's
much.
very beautiful. Yeah.
87 shares is a lot of stickers saved, and I think Dylan will know all about that. Dylan is a young kid at the moment himself.
Absolutely. And as you guys know, or as we inversely learn, the earlier we can learn about the market, the better chance we have to give ourselves an opportunity, not to be cliche, but at the ability to have those financial freedoms in life that I think a lot, well, I'll speak for me. I feel better when I speak for me. That would be great for me to have in life. Background on me, I work a 9 to 5. I work for my county government. I love my work, honestly. I love what I do. But it's been an amazing journey, as well as being able to take my son to preschool in the morning and bring him in right around the opening bell and just say, "Hey, buddy, do you want to buy a stock today?" And he gets about $5 or so, and he might say soda, and that to him means get some Coke today, or coffee or Starbucks, and I'm not gonna lie, he's done pretty well. So he's a little like a canary in the coal mine or something, but it's just it's fun to be able to pass that on. So I just back that, not to only to say, to back that to Chris, and just an amazing job, and what an amazing gift, and also for Midwest as well. Being that being that father that passes that opportunity forward to your child. So not to get too mushy on you guys, but good job, good job, guys.
No, honestly, what I love about this, and that's what I want to sort of show in the Haste Club. I want all the guys to sort of learn about us as people as well. I don't want it to be all these charts, all these numbers. I want them to actually know that we're everyday people. We are average working class men and women. And we want to sort of relay it back to the average retail investor. What I really would love you to share, Dylan, I think it'd be really beneficial to everyone that's here. Can you tell your story about Google stock back in the day?
Sure, absolutely. It's yeah. So I'll get right to it. For me, was turning 18 or so, generally around that 2003, 2004, 2005 range. And I knew nothing about the stock market. Maybe somebody had told me one day, save 10% of your paycheck, but yeah, didn't really tell me what to do with it. And was I saving it? Probably not. But and again, this is for me, what I was caught up was in a bit more of a consumerism life. So what my agenda was, every week to 2 weeks on a Saturday, was to wake up and go get the brand new pair of Jordans that were out, and that was fine, and that's what I thought was the good investment, or the good purchase at the time. Started my retail investment journey about a year and a half ago, and I just happened to look at the Google chart. And I took it back to about that 2003 to 2007 range and just checking what general share count, what the general share price was, and did some math. So about every pair of shoes that I bought on a Saturday, for each one pair of shoes that I bought, had I invested that money into Google stock, that would have compounded to $8,000 of Google stock. So for each pair of shoes, and for my ego, I'm not going to show anything, and happy to get rid of them to get more stock. But that was a lesson I had to learn, and just kind of mature myself to get a little bit away from the consumerism and look to where I want to direct my money, to not just have an opportunity to have and want and enjoy the things today and create the memories for myself and my family today, but also really to have that opportunity to have those things, even though tomorrow's not promised. I am hoping in 10 to 15 years to still want to have and to enjoy those things that I want today, be it another home for my family, be it vacations, memories, experiences for my family. So just trying to do the best to set myself up from kind of, as you say, the day dot of my investment, of the retail investment journey. And, just kind of to that, Liam, it's working for the county, they, set up a 401k, and, you are investing X
Yep.
percent, into it. And it's all kind of like, okay, this will get you to retirement, you'll have X money to live off of. And I guess the gold standard is you want to be at it around what the S&P is doing in the year. And I know retail investing it's not always going to be the big green years. It's not everybody's always going to have Palantir as the one and only in the portfolio, but it did open my eyes to doing the proper research on a company and what an equity investment could actually, there's a better word than turn into, but what an equity investment could actually have a return on. So it's still balancing the both, but yeah, it's been an eye opener to really take a look at what private equity investing is on my own, and taking that leap of faith, but doing it with good research and a good community behind me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, if you have any stories yourself on what got you into investing, what were the biggest mistakes you've ever made in investing, and why are you still investing, please let us know in the comments. Or if you want to call in, please do. Because it's one of our first Haste Clubs, I might share my own personal story about investing, and it relates as well to the other Hustle brother, Reese, which is not here today. And then we might jump across to Chris then. So genuinely, me and Reese were constantly trying to escape the rat race. Yeah. We always had, it's where the Hustle brother name came from. We always had a hustle. We always had a side business going on. We Etsy or Amazon or eBay or something like that, or we were always like washing cars when we were younger, or buying and selling hens. Guys, I'm Irish, so yeah, we're big into farming and stuff like that, but buying and selling hens and stuff like that. And then when I went to like my everyday job, I was a retail manager for a few years, and it kind of sort of made me think that, look, we're working for these big multinational companies, and it's the boys at the top that are generating the wealth. And then it sort of made us start looking at the likes of the stock market. And I'll be dead honest with you, when we initially came in, when we started investing, we were absolute idiots. We still are idiots, yeah, we're still idiots. But do you know what, we're professional idiots now. But when we first came in, genuinely, I think everyone can relate to this if they started investing in the last, I'd say, 7 years or so. With the big YouTube hype, pump, whatever you want to call it, with the likes of Twitter, X, pumping, we started following the herd, yeah? We were looking at the likes of, I'm not going to name names, I'm not firing shots, but there's certain YouTubers that like to pump stocks and buy into this stock's going to $100 as and when. The first time, look, we made a nice bit of money at the very start. And that's where it was quite foolish because, look, when you initially start investing, you think you can put $100 into an investing account. You think you can become a millionaire overnight. Yeah. So initially, I'll be dead honest with you. We put $100 each. We promised each other we're not going to do nothing stupid. We followed a certain creator and we quickly turned that $100 into, I think it was $260 or something like that. It was insane for us. We couldn't believe it. And we were like, if we had 10K, we could have turned that into like 26. Yeah. So genuinely, it started going like that. So then we started like really pumping in our savings and everything. Yeah. So that's what got me into space. Really, I've always been mad into space. I love the Apollo missions. I love everything about NASA itself. And then we had the pomp of Virgin Galactic space tourism. It was beautiful. We all thought, look, who doesn't want to travel to space? And I think the way Virgin Galactic sort of marketed it was like the everyday man or woman could go to space whenever they want. Yeah. So it sort of got us excited. And we were sort of initially in Virgin Orbit, but I wasn't mad about Virgin Orbit. It was more just because we were in Virgin Galactic. But we followed a certain creator who, to this day, still believes it's going to $100. We have footage of the exact day it happened where he's told us to buy in. And do you know what? We've fired up on leverage. No problem. We'll do it. We believe at the time it's going to $100. Yeah. Like in our heart, we honestly believe it. And with the leverage, do you know what? We're going to be millionaires overnight. We're like, we think we have found the secret to everything. Lo and behold, we lost everything. Yeah. So anyway, that didn't sting us enough. We still had a little bit left in savings. So pumped that back in. But again, leverage was our best friend because we thought, do you know what? We've done it quickly before. We can do it quickly again. I didn't personally jump into Nikola. Reese jumped into Nikola. He thought that was going to be the next big thing. I was jumping into the likes of Tilray. Then I can get onto a stupid little tactic I had with Coca-Cola and Pepsi and leverage at the very start, and that was idiotic. But then, because I was so passionate about the stock market, I remember my father telling me that we were watching these YouTubers, and I was starting to like learn a little bit because, do you know, once you get stung twice, you'd be an idiot to get stung a third time badly like that. And my father said to me, why can't you do that? And I remember him, he just kept saying, like, why can't you do what they're doing? Like, just talk about your stock, but don't do what they're doing. Don't try and pump stocks. Why not just talk about it? Like, genuinely, I want someone to go back across our 500 videos and clip me where I've told someone to buy a stock. I will never tell anyone to buy or sell a stock. I think Dylan has watched more or less every video we've had.
Absolutely.
We'll never tell you to buy
love.
or sell a stock because you have to stick to your philosophy. And I think that's why we sort of get on with Chris so much too, because it's all about personality. So anyway, we created the channel, but we weren't like, I don't know. Guys, go back on some of my early videos. It was idiotic. I had a red background. My mic was shocking. But you know what? It was a little bit of fun. And that was when we looked up to the guys. But it never got serious till... And this is why I remember the 1st of August was Rocket Lab's lowest day. Because my father sadly passed away very suddenly. And I must have took about 6 weeks off YouTube at that stage. I wanted to come out of the stock market. It was actually Reese that told me. I remember at the time, Rocket Lab was going low. I thought it was happening again. I thought, do you know what? the stock market's just draining me of money. We weren't leveraged at that stage because we had learned, but I just thought at 298, I was so used to companies reverse splitting. I just genuinely, I didn't want the stock market no more. I wanted to take that money out and just support my family through that hard time. But I remember he saying to me, no matter what, we've built the channel. Your dad wanted you to create something great. He wanted you to share your personality, share knowledge with people. Not, look, we're no specialists. We've said that from the start. We are like building contractors. We're not good at an electrician. We're not a plumber. But look, we're good at bringing all the specialists together and then conveying it to the layman. If we don't know an answer to a question, we'll find the answer if we can, and we will make a video on it. And that's why we constantly pump up videos on the daily. And that's why we're trying to upscale our live streaming now. So then I started believing in myself a little bit more and just kept believing in Rocket Lab, believing in Beck himself. And then I think we all can agree here that that insane run from $3-4 all the way up to 32 at one stage was unbelievable. But we built our channel on eVTOLs because, look, that was another aspect that we loved. I know some of you guys are going to hate eVTOLs, but look, we believe in them. And yeah, that sort of has more or less brought me to where I am today. Am I any smarter? I don't leverage no more. I don't follow anyone's advice. Do your own due diligence. And honestly, if you can learn anything from my story, is don't follow anyone. Only follow your own followers. It's good to talk to different people in a community and sort of bash your ideas together and tear your own thesis apart, but it's always your own thesis. Don't follow anyone else's thesis because there's no guarantee they'll be right. But the reason I just constantly stick with it, the reason I want to ramp this channel up, and I know she's probably watching at the moment, so this is very awkward to say because I've never actually said this to her, but I just want to grow this portfolio to such a stage where I can support my mother because she is just lost without my father. And if I can grow a portfolio and with the community's help, with your opinions, guys, I just genuinely, you will be paying me back by just being here every day, by not advising me, but sharing your thoughts, bringing them back across. It'll help me get to where I need to go, but hopefully by us sharing information, it'll help you guys get to where you want to go. But enough about me. Christopher.
Go for it.
Or what were you going to say, Dylan?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Liam, and I think that's been something that's been great about conversing with you over some certain equity investments where, you know, again, it's never that we're bashing each other's ideas or the thoughts, but it's in those respectful ways that we're just kind of either poking the appropriate holes in certain thoughts or ideas of a certain company that are coming through, and then on the inverse side, maybe kind of sewing up some of the holes for the other person and just having those healthy debates back and forth.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just brought so much value to my learning and thought process going through my investments. And again, just like you say, always go with what your mind and your heart and your gut is telling you to do, because that is your portfolio that you're managing. But having those trusted community friends or friends and family then that you consider that you can talk about this with, I think it can really kind of help shake you during some red days and also keep you a bit grounded during some of the green days, and kind of keep your end goal really at focus.
I honestly think that green days are never as green as you think, and red days are never as bad as you think, because genuine, the sun always shines again. When you go through weeks of red, you can't see anything but red. You think you're the worst investor known to the planet. Yeah. You think you don't know anything. It really humbles you. Yeah. But then on the green days, you genuinely think you are better than Warren Buffett. You think I'm outperforming this guy. Yeah. But genuinely, everything always polarizes itself. Everything always reverts back to the mean. I genuinely don't think any red day is as bad as you think, and any green day is as good as you think. It always gets back to yourself. I want to quickly jump into the comments here. I just found her the other day. Love what I've watched so far. Genuinely, Star Trek Go is something else. From the start, she has been there from the very start of Rocket Lab. She's seen something that some of us guys had never even heard of Rocket Lab before. She's seen it very, very early on. Same with Joby. So, guys, I want to shout her out again. Star Trek Girl, make sure you follow her on X and on YouTube. Content's amazing, and she's starting to ramp up again. Absolutely love it.
Nothing.
We also need female YouTubers in the investing space, and I genuinely feel that and all. I think the more females we get in to this space, the better. I love all types of opinion, and I think having that balance, I would love genuinely if this space was 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all bring different ideas and concepts. And I think you can't get any better than having a diverse mix of people. Midwest, tax hack for transferring wealth to relatives. Son, you can gift between 10 and 20k a year to a relative without being taxed. Plus, it doesn't count as income. I am reading out a comment there. That is not financial advice. The younger you can get into compounding started, the better. Time matters. And I think that is a big value you're teaching your son at the moment.
And, with it, Liam, too, I think one of the great things that YouTube and the general communities have been able to create, I feel really honored and blessed to be able to have met you and have grown a connection with you. Not just even, well, first I'll just speak for just the true friendship that we've been able to develop outside of the investment, just conversations, but wrapping it back in, I'm US based, you are not. And for me, I'm now, when I talk to you, I'm getting a more global mindset on a company that I've been looking at. So again, it gives me that lens where I'm receiving news in a certain fashion, doing my DD in a certain fashion. So just as you say, with getting more female YouTube investors in and onto the channel, I think would be lovely, as again, all the different perspectives and global locations just continue to open the minds and open just the opportunities for conversations that we have throughout the days and through the weeks with this.
Guys, there's 25 of you here, yeah? I want you all to jump into YouTube. I'm about to do a giveaway.
Yeah.
But the only way you can enter the giveaway is if you're on YouTube and you're subscribed to it. If not, I genuinely, I'm not even messing about. I can't give it to you. But when you're in YouTube, that'll allow you to comment because we can't see any comments on X. And that is the important thing I'm about to say. Guys, who would like us to add Star Trek Girl to the Haste Club? I want you to jump in and let me know what you think. I really think Star Trek Girl is the missing piece to the puzzle. I genuinely think she would add so much value to this. She's one of the OGs in Rocket Lab investing. She'll know a lot more than, I'd say, a whole team here. Now, with respect to Christopher has been in since the start as well. But I think both Star Trek Girl and Christopher do focus on two different sides of the business. And I genuinely think it'll be the missing puzzle piece. I think we have the beginner side, we have the average retail investor, we have the defense specialist, and then we have the Rocket Lab specialist. And I genuinely think that team, it would actually bring a lot of value to the community. But guys, let me know what you think. My biggest mistake have been related to short-term decisions and not sticking to long-term vision. 2/3 of my money has been in S&P, and thankfully have been able to double my money every 7 years. Do you know what? That is a solid method. Look, it's tried and trusted, and I genuinely think, look, if that's what you are comfortable doing, and look, you're able to sleep at night with that. You're not worried about
individual earnings and dilutions per an individual company. You have that basket. Yeah. You have that basket of 500.
Like, I remember I said it on, now I'm very, very concentrated in my portfolio at the moment, but I was at a comfortable stage. I remember in the early VTOL weeklies, I was saying my method at the time was to constantly add into the S&P and then on the red days sell. Even if my S&P was slightly down, I'd be able to jump in at nice entry points. But I can't really preach that now because I'm not doing it at the moment. Moral to Liam's story: listen to your dad. Genuinely. Olga, great. No, honestly. And Olga, if you want to call in, I'll fire you the link across here. Good points in building community, including women and international, gives many perspectives. Genuinely, June, I think the more diversity we can get, the better. And that's what I want the Haste Club to be, where you can get people from different part of the world, different genders. It doesn't matter. If you love Rocket Lab, you love Rocket Lab. And that's all we care about you. And if you hate Rocket Lab, I'll still speak to you.
And totally agree with you, June. Absolutely. Great comment. Great comment, June. I love it.
Dylan, I want to thank you so much again for taking your time here. But I want to do a giveaway on YouTube here. Yeah. I haven't done one in a while. So it might take me a minute to work out how I do it again. Guys, let me know if you're on YouTube at the moment. If you're across on YouTube, I'll be able to do a giveaway. It looks like the majority of you are on X at the moment. I'll give you
while they're jumping over, Liam, you know, one thing as a newer investor to Rocket Lab, I was very impressed with the 3D printing capabilities through this company. One thing that I also picked up from watching a brief clip of the 3D printer in which they're doing the carbon fiber composites with was there was and I don't want to get this word wrong. I did write it down. But basically there is, I'm sure it's not redundancy, so I'm sure I'm using the word wrong, but as they're layering the carbon fiber, there's the word is on the tip of my tongue, but basically it's scanning for any errors prior to laying that next layer. And again, I'd like to come with facts instead of just throwing out, but the turnaround time in which another company without that specific printer could develop a piece of that rocket comparative to what Rocket Lab can have that turnaround time with their 3D printing capabilities was just something fascinating I was able to find out about the company being newer to it as well.
Yeah, genuinely, I think they're dotting their I's to crossing their T's. Like we said it even with the reaction wheels. The reaction wheels are on point. We have the likes of Honeywell had the Grace Leak back in it was 2010, I believe. If you look at the likes of the defensive deals, yeah, why would the likes of I don't know, government want to risk it with the likes of grease leaks? So that sort of like puts Rocket Lab on the front page when it comes to the likes of even reaction wheels. Do you know what? I'm just so passionate about this, and I don't want to go too far into it without Chris.
Yeah,
because I feel
sure.
like
We'll
I'm just
save it.
stealing his ideas
No,
as
we'll
I'm
save
going
it.
along.
Save it for the next one.
June, they always make sure they have backup ready of everything they produce, spare rocket, spare flywheel. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
One thing I want to tell you, Dylan, is Rocket Lab never delay for a customer. It's always a customer is delayed on them, but they take the money up front. So even though they can't realize their revenue, they have the money. It sort of like guarantees them, and they're interchangeable. So it's not like a customer's booked on a rideshare on Falcon 9. They have to meet this date. Rocket Lab will get you to a precise insertion into orbit without it being rideshare on the Electron. And you can more or less pick and choose your date depending on weather, of course.
That's amazing.
Guys, I can see a few of you have jumped in. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to quickly fire it out. So I've gifted 5 memberships to the Haste Brothers. Who have we got coming up? I don't even know if I can see. Here we go. So we've Z Stack Up. We have Mitris. We have Philip Burgess, Hydra, and Johnny Mack, all been given memberships for the Haste Brothers.
That's awesome.
Genuinely, what we're going to start doing, I want to do more giveaways. I want to make it a lot more interactive. I want to get that X fixed so we can get the comments from X straight across to us.
Yeah.
But, guys, I really want to say, Dylan is doing a fantastic job as one of the Haste Brothers. Today, if anything, Dylan has provided the most information, the most value. I am so sorry I'm not myself today, just because I have been working all day. I was up all night doing that stream last night because I was just back from a holiday. And again, we've time differences. I didn't get to bed till 4 a.m. last night.
I believe it.
Like, what are we at now? 12:30. But we are going to balance it. We are going to work it out where we get on a specific time every day. As we all start learning more about Rocket Lab, we'll be able to share a lot more information. I want to get more and more specialists on. I know a lot of you are quite interested in charts, even though we have said that we won't be going heavily into financials and that. But if any of you are a chart specialist, I know it's not Johnny Mack, it's Jacob. Jacob is really big on charts. I would love you to come on to our stream. If you don't want to come on to our stream, fire them across to me on X. Explain what you want us to show, and we'll happily present it for you. Guys, honestly, any information you want shared out into the Rocket Lab community, just DM us on X. DM even myself on the Haste Brothers. Dylan is Dylan, or I'm sure you are all fully aware of who Christopher Bell is.
Right.
He is like our knight in shining armor in this community. I want to thank 23 of you, absolutely passionate about Rocket Lab. You followed us here for an hour 15, and I just can't thank you enough.
Thank
But
you.
you know what?
Thank you, guys.
Dylan, are we going to do same time tomorrow?
I'm on. If you're on, I'm on. I love it. This has been amazing. And again, it's just another opportunity for me to get together with like-minded community. So it's great. Thank you, everybody in the comments who jumped in. That adds so much value. Anything that I can go back, do more research on, fire it away in the comments. Let me know. That's what I'll do. I'll go back, I'll do that research. And I'm just extremely happy and proud to be able to just come on here and talk with a friend about like-minded stocks. And yeah, I could go on and on, but Liam, it's been great talking with you today. Chris, it's been fantastic talking with you all day. Again, congrats on your daughter. Amazing accomplishment. So proud for you. So proud for her. And absolutely, same time tomorrow. I'm here.
Yeah. And I want to say, guys, before we go here, I want you to jump into the comments now. I want 5 comments down there telling me your worst mistake in the stock market, because I'm going to come on tomorrow and we're going to discuss them. Right, guys. Until tomorrow.